Razaban for FightHype.com with me. Very honoured to have with us back in the UK, Kevin Barry, head coach and trainer for WBO heavyweight champion Joseph. Firstly, Kev, how are we doing?
Doing good, yeah. Love the Park Plaza here at the Riverbank. We've stayed here like 3 times now, and it's, as you can see, it's a pretty impressive spot. The view's amazing. The people are really good.
Feels like home.
We always say we like London, mate. We really do, and I think, you know, that coming over here last year and going through the exercise of the build-up to the Fury fight, then the 2 weeks here for the Fury fight, I think it's actually going to help us a lot coming into the preparations for this fight.
Obviously, talking about that particular Fury fight, Eddie Hearn was very vocal after seeing the fight and said this has only done damage to Joseph's reputation because of the performance. But
then he was very quick straight afterwards, about a month later, to say we want to fight Joseph Parker, you know, but you know we don't want to pay him. So yeah, Eddie's a very clever man. Look, if there is, you know, does anybody look good against Fury? If there's somebody out there, please tell me, because I don't know. I know that he was going to fight Dillian White, and they quickly removed Dillian from the discussion from that fight. You know, Huey would box the ears off Dillian White. You know, Huey's a young guy who will get better, and he'll improve from that performance. You know, he wasn't good enough to take the title off Joseph Parker, but his day will come.
I just want to go back. Obviously, you've been working with Joseph for a very, very long time.
Nearly 5 years.
5 years now. What was that moment like for yourself personally when Joseph was the new WBO heavyweight champion?
Oh, it was a very special moment, moment for me, and also for my son Taylor, who works in the corner with me, who'd been with Joe at that stage about 3.5 years. He sort of worked full time for me. My brother Brian, who was also in the corner. So it was a very special moment. You know, I came very close with David Tour. In fact, one of the biggest disappointments in my life is, you know, the 12 years I spent with David Tour, that he never won the heavyweight belt. He knocked out 4 guys who wore the heavyweight belt, had 2 of the fastest knockouts on HBO, 19 seconds of John Ruiz and 30 seconds of Michael Mora, but couldn't wear the belt himself. So there was something that I really wanted to tick off, and in fact I made a promise to my dad before he passed that I would train a fighter to win the world heavyweight title, and so it was a very special moment. Obviously,
we're here in you're here in the UK for the fight that was announced yesterday with Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua, as you know, regarded as one of the top fighters in Britain. From a coaching perspective, a trainer perspective, without doubt, this is going to be Joseph Parker's toughest opponent.
Oh, for sure. You know, like this is really. This will be a career-defining fight for Joseph Parker. I believe that Anthony Joshua had one when he fought Klitschko. You know, it was a fight that he actually found out a lot about himself in that fight, that he could fight somebody who was very experienced, so he could pick himself up off the canvas. He went to a really dark place and was able to come back and win very impressively, and it was like one of the fights of the year. So a career-defining fight for him. Joseph Parker hasn't had one yet. You know, I need this to be Joseph Parker's career-defining to date fight.
Obviously, Anthony Joshua is undefeated, just like Joseph Parker. You probably have looked at many videos and seen many fights of Anthony. But what do you see as his kind of weak points and things that you can kind of just take advantage of?
Well, you know, obviously, you know, there are, with any fighter in the world, there are strengths and weaknesses. And look, this fight hasn't come to us by surprise. We have been on a collision course with Anthony Joshua for the last 3 years. In fact, we've been watching Anthony ever since he won the Olympic gold and turned pro. In fact, 2014, 15 and 16, Joseph Parker and Anthony Joshua were the only up-and-coming fighters fighting 5 times a year. Their paths have been very, very similar. We were actually the mandatory to fight Joshua before we chased the WBO route. And we were going to fight him before there were any belts involved and before there were any millions involved. So, you know, this is a fight that we have liked. This is a style that we have liked for a long time. Joe and I have sat down and we've watched all of Joshua's fights. And, you know, we've talked about combinations that we throw, that we can identify, that will work against him. We know what his strengths are. We know what his weaknesses are. You know, he, like Joe, are both, as you said before, young guys. Joe's the youngest guy in the world, top 10, both undefeated. Both are far from the finished product. Both these guys are going to get better.